218 just talks about the operational, president have the power to have the operational use of the military. They are quite distinct. Now, the Constitution does not define what operational use is. If you go to the Armed Forces Act, Section 8, subsection 3 of it, tells you what operational use is. And I'll read that to you again. It says, it includes the operational use of the armed forces in Nigeria for the purpose of maintaining and securing public safety and public order. That section obviously is indicative that a situation might arise where he needs to act quickly and expeditiously in determining and to bring law and order where there's a strife. Now, imagine a situation where you don't anticipate it, there's a sudden breakdown of order in a polling booth, and they are fighting and overwhelm the police. Will you wait for the National Assembly as Mr. President before you send people to do anything?
So
it's such judgment that 218 attempts to provide for.
So what should they do in that case? Should he preempt that there may be breakdown of law and order and then deploy the troops in waiting?
If you anticipate a breakdown of law and order and you want to go under the ambit of 217, then he should go to the National Assembly ahead of time. But supposing he doesn't preempt that, and there's actually breakdown of law and order, 218 becomes operative. Because then he can act without having to necessarily go to the National Assembly. That's why I said they're disjunctive, and Mr. Wahab to see the distinction. Now, like everything in Nigeria, day becomes night once it has a political dimension. Once one side takes a picture, the other one will never agree, no matter how rational the arguments are, because this is driven by passion and convictions and beliefs. And so rational arguments go away. Now the court, we don't know the entire ambit under which the court gave its ruling. We don't know whether it based it strictly on 217 or whether he extended it to 218. Until we read that judgment, we can never tell. In any event, there's still one more tier of court to go to determine that. And I'm sure all the issues have been canvassed at that level. I see this going to the Supreme Court. And we still do have enough time between now and 28th of March to have this settled one way or the other. But listen to the arguments and listen to all the suggestions. Can you truly allow your country go into flames and you have an ambit of your security forces that can deal with it and you let that happen?
All right, just hang on there. Okay, that's the point. I'll bring in Mr. Wahab. After we get to correspondent Lanre Lasisi, who's also standing by to bring us up to speed concerning what's going on where he is. Hello, Lanre.
Well, the atmosphere in Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, appeared very calm, even though there was heavy presence of security officials at almost every street. We also had some civilian members of the Civilian Joint Task Force at strategic points in the city. But everybody seemed to just be going about their normal business. Market was filled, the streets were filled. They even had traffic hold-ups in different parts of the town. The image I got was of a town that was enjoying relative peace, and they were trying to get on with their lives as much as possible. I spoke with some residents there, and they said they really welcome the recent deployment of more military officials to that part of the country, and they believe they're doing a very good work and believing that peace will come to stay as it is in that part of the country. I spoke to them about the elections also, and a lot of them say they're ready for the elections. They're prepared. They said they'd collected their PVCs. A lot of them said they have collected the permanent voter cards. I also visited some of the camps for the internally displaced persons from that part of the country. And even in the camps, they said they've collected, some of those I spoke to said they've collected the cards and they're ready for the elections. But they also made me understand that the collections of the PVCs was stopped at a point in time because there were the officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission observed that people were collecting cards that were not theirs. They were collecting for other people. So in a bid to ensure that doesn't happen, the process was stopped. But most of those I spoke with said they had collected the PVCs, and they said they will like to have the elections. They're ready for the elections, and whenever the country says the elections should hold, they will be ready.
Thank you, Larry. Good stuff. Well, let's move on now to Ine Thompson also has her version of the roundup and what else is happening also about it. Hello, Ine.
Hello, Chamberlain. Well, we're going to go away a bit from the security issues and we go to Oyo State in the camp of Labour Party, and then we'll move to the People's Democratic Party, after which PVC dominates the headlines in Anambra and Ogun states.
The local government area of Oyo State is the venue of loud music and dance as Labour Party visits the area. The governorship candidate Adebayo Alawakala throws caution in the wind as he enjoys the music. The People's Democratic Party also has its followers and asks for votes for candidates vying for different positions in both federal and state level. Meanwhile, PVC is the theme as the women of Ihiala in Anambra State gather to voice their displeasure at the level of distribution, which they say is low, with not just INEC to blame, but the women also.
The INEC people, somehow they are disappointing us. We have been to them several times, out of number, but they are doing the one they can. With what has happened in government, with what has happened in election that is now postponed to 28 March and April 11, we are begging our women so that they will go and get their permanent card.
However, collection is still ongoing at the local government headquarters after effort by INEC staff who say they have sent messages to the residents.
We held a meeting with the President Generals of the town unions with our new rec, and they were informed. The PGs and the town crier informed them to come and pick their PVC in the different collection centers.
But even at this level, the residents still have complaints.
I'm surprised that I came and said it has not even been printed. I was not asking, assuming that thing were still held on the, but the meaning I wouldn't have participated.
PVC is still the topic. This time, Campaign for Democracy and Human Rights is leading a protest saying that the level of distribution into the state is well below average.
We have come here to ask Professor Etaro Jegal-led INEC, what are the factors responsible for the holding of the Ogun State permanent voters card and of the Cotton Nigeria people? We are tired, and we are tired of the various lies we have been getting from INEC. Ogun State people are demanding for their PVCs now. Yes. March 28, April 11 is fast approaching. We want to hear from INEC if INEC is really prepared for the forthcoming election.
The commission, however, has reasons for this occurrence.
We still have many security personnel in post at that time that registered. Most of them today may have been transferred, and their cars are in Ogun State. Who will collect for them if they don't come back to collect? And so this accounted for some of the reasons why some of these cars are still lying there.
INEC has till March 8 to sort out issues such as this one and allow for more collection of PVCs in the Federation.
Well, that's it for now. Back to you, Chamberlain.
Well, thank you, Ine. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back afterwards. Join us again. Well, we're winding down now, and let's start off with Mr. Akion Shutoku. Tell us now, at the end of the day, do you think that you should appeal this case or what? Can you hear me, Mr. Shutoku? Okay, let's go over to Skype, and Mr. Akwede SAN is still on standby. Mr. Akwede, let's get your final words on this one. What should be the way out of this, since both parties disagree on what to do?
Chamberlain, we are in a catch-22 situation. The two court judgments, which seem to indicate, as it were, that the military should not be used for the elections. We need to understand the context under which that was played. We still have, there's not a final word on that yet. You still have to go to the Supreme Court. And I see they will go the whole hog. The alternative also, the executive can decide at this point in time to seek the approval of the National Assembly for a standard order that if the worst comes to the worst, they should be able to deploy military to take care of the actions in line with Section 217 of the Constitution.
Thank you.
Otherwise, it also has the ambit of Section 218 to deploy the military for operational use in civil matters. There are various ambits, but it's better to go into an election like this with all these issues settled. Because the more you create these tensions, the more that people are likely to doubt the results of the elections, and people are able to clarify on it.
All right.
Now, what I hear the other side say in the divide what I heard Mr. Wahab say, that the military have been infiltrated, and as a result, they can't be trusted. That's what I hear him saying. But he's also willing to let the police operate. Wouldn't the police be infiltrated if that's the argument? So it's neither here nor there. My thought process is that let us get to the field on 28 and get through this process.
All right, thank you, Mr. Akwede. We really had to go. Apologies there. Let's get your final thoughts on this.
Our take is clear. We should not get military involved in democracy. They are not complementary. And we don't want to subject the democratic experience or process to the Thailand or the Egypt experience. From what we have seen in Ekiti and Osun, we on this party platform insist that there is subsisting court, or there are subsisting court orders, Federal High Court, Sokoto, and then Court of Appeal, Abuja. If the government in power is not satisfied from what Oshitoko has just said, they can go ahead and appeal to the Supreme Court on that issue.
All right, Wahab Tokunbo, a member of the All Progressives Congress, and then Mr. Dafe Akwede joined us via Skype from our studios in Abuja. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria. We also did have Mr. Akion Shutoku, a member of the PDP's Presidential Campaign Council. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and thank you also for watching and sending your comments. We appreciate all of you. So, from all of us here tonight, I'm Chamberlain Uso, signing out.